I really became aware of FerndaleHaus when I was driving home one day and I saw a large billboard advertising for it saying that they were looking for immediate occupancy or looking for tenants for it. So I was curious about it and researched what it was and thought maybe if I stretched my dollar a little bit more and re-budgeted my finances, I could afford to live there and it would be a nice upgrade. But I realized that it was twice what I was paying and was completely shocked to realize just how expensive housing was becoming in the city. It made me feel that even though I have a good salary job, I work really hard for the money that I earn, it still isn't enough. And that makes me question just how much other people who make far less money than I do can actually afford to live here in Ferndale. There's a number of different luxury developments that we've had, and there's a number that are still being planned for what's called market rate, but in reality is being advertised as luxury developments in the city. But all of these are at rates that are completely unattainable for most people, even in the city that could already afford to live here, let alone people that want to move to the city. If this doesn't get addressed, I fear that we will lose a large part of our socioeconomic class here in Ferndale, and that it will shift entirely to one that is only valuing wealthy people in our city, and not recognizing that what makes our city incredible is the diversity that we have. With less diversity, we will lose the character and the spirit of our city. And so I'm very worried that we're going to lose that what makes Ferndale Ferndale, and what people value and prize about our city very much. I found this to be sort of a shock point for myself, which just made me really alert and aware of what was happening in our city. And I realized that the closer I looked to things going on in the city, the more I was aware of problems and issues and concerns I had. And at that point, I realized that I wanted to run for city council to actually start questioning and addressing those concerns. In the beginning of the campaign, it was really nerve-wracking. It was a lot of self-doubt of whether or not people would be receptive to what I was trying to talk to them about when I expressed concern about the affordability of the city, about concerns of climate change. I wasn't sure if people would actually relate to it or not as much as what I was concerned about it. I found that there was a lot of support, and it's been really encouraging with running and talking to people. So the more I talk to people, the more support I've found and interest as well as concern for the same things that I've been concerned about here in this city when it comes to affordability and addressing climate change. Things are changing in our city where people are becoming more aware of local politics and how they impact your day-to-day life, and the fact that you have a voice in your city and can actually implement those changes. I think people should vote for me if you're concerned about the affordability of the city, or about climate change, or about the welcoming inclusivity of this city, because I'm willing to really take a strong stance on it and actually put in changes that will actually impact and help people, rather than conducting a study or just showing simple concern about it. It should be, if you want to live here, you can afford to live here and find adequate housing that meets that goal.